Their traits, their tone, what they say. Huh?
I was gonna say dialogue.
Dialogue. Attitude. So language. We're gonna look at that. Yep. So we're gonna be looking at Mr. Linder, his offer, and what it what? What his offer? What does it say in our represents? What does that mean when I say represents? What do I mean when I say what is Mr. Linder? I'm sorry, real quick. Mr. Linder and his offer. What does it represent? What do I mean by that word represent?
What does it like mean or show?
Yeah. Let's think bigger. Represents.
What is it? Shows or describes.
Shows or describes, but do we just want to know what it represents in the story? Do we want to know what it represents for like a bigger picture? What do I mean by that? Which one? Big picture. Some people are like big picture, some people are just story. We want to look at what he represents, big picture, but also in the story. Like this character is used very specifically, and he has a very specific purpose, and he represents something very specific that we need to unpack today. So, today we are going to be on pages 113 to 119. And as you guys have already stated, we're looking at the character of Mr. Linder. Who is he, first of all? We're going to be looking at what is his offer. We're going to be looking at how the family responds to that offer. And then finally, what does Mr. Linder and that offer represent? So while we're reading, you guys are going to be answering for those top 3 questions. Who is Mr. Linder? How is he described? What is his actual offer to the family? And how does the family respond to this offer? So those are the things that we're going to be looking at. So we're on page 113. We're going to start where it says Benita goes to the door. So we'll just start with that one line that Benita has. So I'm going to need a Benita. Wow, there's a lot of characters this time. We need a Benita. We need the man before we know who he is. That's he's just the man. It's Mr. Linder. We need a Walter. We need a Ruth. And like a mama, but it's not that many lines. So Mr. Linder, right here. Benita, Ruth, Mama, who am I missing? Walter? I'm doing stage direction. All right. Starting, I'm sorry. Again, as we read, think about these 3 questions. Who is Mr. Linder? Lindner, sorry. How is he being described? What is his offer to the family? How does him respond? Ready? And
What page? 112.
we're at 113 beneath the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. How often have we heard that phrase? Since 4th grade? Since I was in 4th grade, so way before you were born. All right, ready? And see.
Sticks and stones may break.
Speak up. Like you mean it.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Benita goes to the door and opens it as Walter and Ruth go on with the climbing. Benita is somewhat surprised to see a quiet-looking, middle-aged white man in a business suit, holding his hat and a briefcase in his hand, and consulting a small piece of paper.
Oh, how do you do, miss? I am looking for Miss
He looks at the slip of paper.
Miss Lena Younger?
He stops short, struck dumb at the sight of the oblivious Walter and Ruth. Benita, smoothing her hair with slight embarrassment.
Oh, yes, that's my mother. Excuse me.
She closes the door and turns to quiet the other 2.
Ruth, brother.
Enunciating precisely but soundlessly, you're just enunciating it. So you're not saying it out loud, you don't want him to hear. So she's just at the door like. They stop dancing. Ruth cuts off the phonograph. Benita opens the door. The man casts a curious, quick glance at all of them. Benita, that's you.
My mother isn't
Come in, please. Stop.
Come in, please.
Man, coming in.
My mother isn't here just now. Is it business?
What? Yes, well, of a sort.
So, Walter, freely, the man of the house. Can you speak up a little, like loud so we can all hear?
Have a seat. I am Mr. Youngest. Mrs.
Mrs. Youngers.
Mrs. Youngest son. I look after most of her business matters.
Ruth and Benita exchange amused glances. The man regarding Walter and sitting.
Well, my name is Carl Linder.
Walter stretching out his hand.
Walter Younger. Walter Younger, this is my wife.
Ruth nods politely.
And my sister.
How do you do?
Amicably, as he sits himself on a chair, leaning forward on his knees with interest and looking expectantly into the newcomer's face.
What can you do for me, Mr. Linder?
Mr. Linder, some minor shuffling of the hat and the briefcase on the knees.
Well, I am a representative of the Lightbourne Park Improvement Association.
Walter pointing.
Why don't you sit? Why don't you sit your things on the floor?
Oh yes, thank you.
He slides the briefcase and hat under the chair.
And as I was saying, I am from the Clybourne Park Improvement Association. And we had it brought to our attention at the last meeting that you people, or at least your brother, has bought a piece of residential property at
He digs the slip of paper again.
406 Clybourne Street.
Stop there. How is Mr. Linder being described so far? What do we know about Mr. Linder so far based off of what we've read? What do we know, what can we say about Mr. Linder based off of what we have now tonight? He's a businessman. He is, what kind of businessman? Think about literally his looks. White businessman. What does he say that he does? What does he tell the family that he does? M.
He works at, he's from a representative of the,
Clybourne Park.
yeah, people association.
Great. And if you know anything about like housing developments, just to give you guys some backstory, especially in the suburbs, they have like these like homeowner association things, or like all the homeowners that live in the neighborhood get together to talk about things that happen in their neighborhood. Like my aunt had one, and my aunt was actually a part of it. Strangely enough, I thought that they were weird. It's like they literally gather and they have like a community center, and they're hanging out there and they're talking about, oh man, there's been a lot of like animals escaping, or like, cause she lived by like a bunch of bushes where like random deers and stuff would come. They're like, how do we stop this problem? And so they like literally problem solve how to like fix the neighborhood or whatever. So strange. So this is what this guy, Mr. Linder, is doing. We already kind of get a sense of like what he's about based off of what he does, and he's being literally described as a white businessman. Let's keep going. Walter, go.
That's right. Care for something to drink. Get this one to do.
Linder, upset for some reason.
Oh no, really? I mean, thank you very much, but not thank you.
Ruth, innocently.
Thank you, nothing at all.
Benita is watching the man carefully.
Well, I don't know how much you folks know about organization.
He is a gentleman, thoughtful, and somewhat labored in his manner.
It is in one of these community organizations set up to look after, you know things like block upkeep and special projects. We also have what we call over new neighbors or orientation
Committee.
committee.
Benita, dryly.
Yes, and what do they do?
Linder, turning a little to her and then returning to the main force, to Walter.
Well, it's what you might call a sort of welcoming committee. I'm the chairman of the committee. Go around and see the new people who move into the neighborhood and sort of give them the lowdown on the way we do things out in Clybourne Park.
Benita, with appreciation of the two meanings, which escaped Ruth and Walter.
And we also have the category of what association calls
He looks elsewhere.
special community problems.
Yes, and what are some of those?
Linder, with understated relief.
Thank you. I would sort of like to explain this thing in my own way. I mean, I want to explain to you in a certain way.
Go ahead.
Yes, well, I'm going to try to get right to the point. I'm sure we'll all appreciate that in the long run,
Yes.
Be still then.
well,
Still innocently.
Would you like another chair? You don't look comfortable.
More frustrated than annoyed.
no, thank you very much. Please, well, to get right to the point,
A great breath, and he is off at last.
I am sure your people must be aware of some of the incidents which have happened in the various parts of the city when the colored people have moved into certain areas.
Benita exhales heavily and starts tossing a piece of fruit up and down in the air.
Well, because we have what I think is going to be a unique type of organization in America, community life, not only do we deplore that kind of thing, but we are trying to do something about it.
Benita stops tossing and turns with a new and quizzical interest to the man,
We feel
gaining confidence in his mission because of the interest in the faces of the people he is talking to.
We feel that most of the trouble in this world, when you come right down to it,
He hits his knee, for example. Emphasis, sorry.
most of the trouble
Exists.
exists because people just don't sit down and talk to each other.
Ruth nodding as she might in church, pleased with his remark.
You can say that again.
Linder, more encouraged by such an affirmation.
That we don't try hard enough in this world to understand that other fellow's problem, the other guy's point of view.
Yeah, that's right.
Benita and Walter merely watch and listen with genuine interest.
Yes, that's the way we feel out in Clyburn Park. And that's why I was lucky to come here this afternoon and talk to you people. Friendly like you know the way people should talk to each other and see if we couldn't find some way to work this thing out. As I say, the whole business is a matter of caring about the other fellow. Anybody can see that you are a nice family of folks, hardworking and honest, I'm sure.
Sorry. Benita frowned slightly quizzically, her head tilted regarding him.
Today, everybody knows what it means to be on the outside of something. And of course, there's always somebody who is out to take advantage of people who don't always understand.
What do you need?
Well, you see, our community is made up of people who work hard as the Dickens for years to build up that little community. They're not rich and fancy people, just hardworking, honest people who don't really have much, but those little homes and a dream of the kind of community they want to raise their children in. Now, I don't say we are perfect, and we are perfect, and there's a lot wrong in some of these things they want. But you got to admit that a man, right or wrong, has the right to want to have the neighborhood he lives in a certain kind of way. And at the moment, the overwhelming majority of our people out there feel that people get along better, take more of a common interest in the life of the community. When they share a common background, I want you to believe me when I tell you that prejudice simply doesn't enter it. It is a matter of the people of Clyburn Park believing, rightly or wrongly, as I say, that for the happiness of all concerned, that our Negro families are happier when they live in our own communities.
Their own communities.
Their own communities.
Benita with a grand and bitter gesture.
This, friends, is the welcoming committee.
Walter, dumbfounded, looking at Linder.
Is this what you came marching all the way over here to tell us?
Well, now we've been having a fine conversation. I hope y'all hear me all the way through.
Tightly.
Go ahead, man.
You see in the face of all the things I have to say, we are prepared to make your family a very generous offer.
Benita, 30 pieces and a coin. Oh, sorry.
30 pieces and not a coin less.
Yeah.
Putting his glasses and drawing the form out of the briefcase.
Our association is prepared through the collective effort of our people to buy the house from you at a financial gain to your family.
Lord have mercy.
Can you speak if there's an exclamation point at the end? If you guys are gonna read like 400 people, I can just read the whole thing myself.
Lord have mercy, interest of living down.
All right, you through. Yeah, you through.
Well, I want to give you the exact terms of financial argument.
Arrangement.
Arrangement.
We don't want to hear no exact term, no arguments.
Arrangements.
No arrangement. I want to know if you get any more to tell us or get getting others.
Great. I wanna know if you got any more to tell us about getting together. Linder, taking off his glasses.
Well, I don't suppose that you feel.
Never mind how I feel. You got any more to say about how people ought to sit down and talk to each other, get out of my house.
He turns his back and walks to the door. Linder, looking around at the hostile faces, reaching and assembling his hat and briefcase.
Well, I don't understand why you people are reacting this way. What do you think you are going to gain by moving into a neighborhood where you just aren't wanted, and where some elements where people can get awful worked up when they feel that their whole way of life and everything they ever wished for is gutted.
Get out.
Linder at the door, holding a small card.
Well, I'm sorry it looks like this.
Get out.
Almost sadly regarding Walter.
You just can't force people to change their hearts, son.
He turns and puts his card on the table and exits. Walter pushes the door to with a stinging hatred and stands there looking at it. Ruth just sits, and beneath the distance, they say nothing. Mama and Travis and Jim. We're stopping there. I want you guys to answer these two questions. Can you already know the first one? What is his offer to the family, and how does the family respond to that offer? We're gonna start there. What was eventually all of this saying, all of him talking to them, sitting down with them? He eventually got at why he came. But what was the offer? Some of us already wrote it down as we were speaking. Shout out to you guys. What was Mr. Linder's offer to the family, and how does the family respond? And by family, I want to know how each family member responds. Do they have the same responses? Do they have different responses? How do we know? Where in the text does it say that somebody responded? As a reminder, stage directions count as evidence. We should be writing in your note section, so if you're staring at me, you're not doing what I asked you to do. That's weird. I should be in your book or in your note section. What is his offer? How does it respond to this? Do this first. I don't see it.